Yo, everyone, this is Eagle Lad Football here, your boy Rich, and this is just some Eagle news. It's something I'm going to look to do, or try and do on the channel as regularly as possible, where possible. It's not always easy, but obviously, we cover news anyway during our preview shows, so we've got our Chelsea preview this evening. So we'll have me, JC and Nate there. So make sure you're locked into that later on today. But I just thought I'd bring you some news. So let's start off with some Botafogo news. So it's come to our attention that today, the Botafogo president, let me make sure I get his name correct. He's traveling down. So just Cesio, I hope I've pronounced that correctly. Cesio Mello, president of the club, he's traveling down with Eduardo Freeland today. So whether or not they've arrived yet, but what they're doing is they're coming down to have a look at their academy setup. Obviously, we have invested in a new academy, £20 million worth, and it looks amazing. Which is obviously a big step for the club. There's so much talent in and around South London, and just having that academy here would allow us to be able to keep a lot of that talent at the club, especially instead of obviously venturing out to like the Chelseas, the Arsenals, or whatever it may be. So it's a massive step having that academy set up with the club, and this is the reason why the Botafogo president has come down. So obviously, if you were not aware, John Textor, who has obviously shares in our club, he has gone and bought Botafogo, which kind of like, and it's beautiful to see, especially amongst Twitter, like there's such unity, amongst the Botafogo fans and the Palace fans. And this is another step in the right direction for both clubs. So the intention is to obviously come and have an intense look at the facilities, come and have a look at the setup, talk to staff that are in and involved in and around it and involved in it on a day-to-day basis, and it's quite good that the intention of the trip is for them to obviously know the training setup, know the centre, where things are located, how things are located, to also speak to some of the squad, and most importantly, learn about the setup, because what they want to do is obviously take the ideas that we've implemented thus far and take it over with them to Brazil, which like I said, it's a signal of intent, because when you look at the setup between us and Botafogo, there's so many benefits in the future. You can look at the fact that maybe from both sides there could be like youth players that switch. We could have some of our youth go over to Brazil to gain experience, or vice versa. Botafogo could send some of their players down to us. So that's definitely going to have some great, partnership in the future. You also look at the fact that potentially like pre-season friendlies and stuff against each other, that would be amazing, whether it's down here at Sellers Park or if it's in Brazil. Or you never know, it could end up being a neutral venue, because obviously John Textor lives in Florida. But either way, it will be crazy. There will definitely be a lot of attraction, and that's obviously going to benefit, once again, both clubs due to the financial side to it. And you know what? The one side that we haven't really touched on is the media side to it. This is going to get a lot of media attraction, this partnership between Palace and Botafogo. And, obviously for Botafogo, the fact that a Premiership club and their fans are really starting to get really invested into them, and now looking into their fixtures as well, that's giving them international recognition, and they're getting to a stage where they really want to get back to where they were as a club. I was speaking to Pedro from Glorious Botafogo, so make sure you go and subscribe to him, because he gives the Botafogo news in English, so it's easy for us to obviously understand and understand what's going on with the club. And they've had a similar journey to us, where they've had some hardships as well, and we obviously know the hardships we've had over the years, especially facing administration on two separate occasions. So No, it's exciting news. Absolutely exciting news. And the good thing about it with Dressio Melo and Eduardo Freeland, sorry. What they're going to do is actually they're staying for the game that's at Sellers Park against Chelsea. Which will be good. Once again, it's just kind of seeing how we operate during the match day and stuff, and seeing what they can take over there. So that's the first bit of news. Once again, Botafogo's international adventure continues, or begins in fact, with Dressio Melo and Eduardo Freeland coming down to have a look at the facilities and the academy set up down at Crystal Palace. The second bit of news, and obviously I believe this broke yesterday, which has obviously brought a lot of traction now. These rumours of Eze and Newcastle wanting him. Now, it's quite bad from the Sun, and this is what they have said. They said that we rejected a loan approach for Eze in January, but Newcastle are lining up a £45 million move in the summer. And obviously we know that with regards to Eze, he's kind of like getting his way back into fitness, and Achilles injuries, it's not easy to get back from. So even as a fan base, we need to be really patient with him, because obviously we want to see him get back to his best. And in fact, we're hoping that he might even start in the CG role today, because obviously Gallagher isn't eligible to play against Chelsea this week. So, and it's interesting because obviously I jumped on Twitter, as you do, and just had a look around and stuff. And it's like you can see both sides of the coin. Now, me personally, I don't want him going. I don't want him going anywhere. We're trying to build as a club, so we've got to keep our better players, and like I said, it's all down to perception here. He isn't finished. He's not finished at the club whatsoever. But there's a few others that have said, you know what, 45 million? Some have said it's not enough. Some have said, listen, we make it 3 times the amount we spent on him, and maybe that can go elsewhere. So it's an interesting debate, because 45 million is a lot of money. But then again, it's Newcastle, so they could easily pay more. But then we're also impacting a direct rival in a sense. And when I say rival, I'm not saying it because we're down a relegation scrap. No. Newcastle are a side that are also aspiring to get back to where they need to be. All right. And we want to get better. So giving them one of our better players ain't going to help us. Yes, we'll get the money for it, but that's not the whole point of a rebuild. And it's not the whole point of a building system. So for me, and it's not just the fact that it's from the Sun, because we know the Sun can chat, but it's more so the fact that, listen, he's going to come good when he's back fit and healthy and running at players again. He's going to be fit and healthy. And most importantly, we've got to look at the fact that, listen, next season we may not have Gallagher. As much as he's been brilliant for us, and he's a Chelsea player, and that 50 million that we're talking about, that could be Gallagher's asking price. So is it a case where, all right, we make Eze go to Newcastle, we get Gallagher in, all well and good, but then we haven't increased the squad. We haven't increased the squad, or improved the squad. We're letting one go to bring one in. You know what I mean? So we need competition for places everywhere on the pitch, Saha, we don't know what's happening with him next season. It's Edouard going to be our new left winger next season as well. We've got to think about that. Coyote, hopefully we'll sign a contract extension. You got Milo, who might be out the door. Macca's obviously coming towards the end of his career as well, even though he's been brilliant for us. So we've got to think about how we can keep our better players in, I think there's loads more areas we need to sort out first before worrying about getting rid of Eze, personally. So yeah, that's obviously the rumour coming out from the Sun that Newcastle are landing up a 45 million bid for Eze. Lastly, obviously, massive shout out to Cheku. He's come back. He got a guard of honor from the squad when he arrived back from the African Cup of Nations, which was nice to see. And I hope that winning mentality can just drive us forward into to the end of the season. Yes, we've got Chelsea this week, which we can consider not writing off, because obviously we want to compete. But next week we've got, I believe it's Watford Wednesday and Burnley Saturday. And those two games are massive. I mean, if you thought the games against Norwich and Brentford were huge, these two are even bigger because obviously we failed to secure any wins against Norwich and Brentford. So, an interesting week ahead. 3 games in a week. We've just got to see how we get on. But other than that, guys, big up. Thanks for all the support thus far. I say like, share, subscribe. And yeah, look out for the match preview 7:30 tonight on the channel. We all live. Turn those notification bell on. And I'm out.